Hey, how's it going, Seth?
Hey, it's going well. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. You made it clear in the past, in the last couple of months and whatnot, that you've wanted to work with Rey Mysterio for a long time now. Has that experience? How's that experience been like for you working with his son Dominik? Almost exactly 15 years removed from that infamous custody of Dominik match, the ladder match at SummerSlam '05. How's that experience working with Rey and Dominik in recent months?
It's been incredible. Honestly, Ray is a legend, been in the industry, a major part of it for 30 years. We've talked a lot about how he's essentially the greatest luchador in history. And I don't think that's, you can argue and debate if you want on that. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, he's the most influential, most far-reaching Mexican wrestling superstar there's ever been. And I've been personally watching Ray since I was, oh man, 15, 14, something like that. So,
Mhm.
he's been a huge influence on me. So being able to, you know, it's been really fun, actually, all things considered, I would say.
The beating that you gave Dominik on Raw this week with the kendo stick was unbelievably brutal. One of the most aggressive and violent things we've seen on Raw in recent memory. Should the fans expect to see an even more aggressive side of Seth Rollins heading into your match at SummerSlam with Dominik?
I mean, you're always going to see an aggressive side of me. Whenever it comes to stuff that's in the ring,
Mhm.
I don't take it easy. I don't take a night off. And so, that was an initiation of sorts for Dominic. He signed a WWE contract and, he wants to fight the best at SummerSlam. So he's going to get that. I'm not going to hold back just because it's his first match in WWE or because he's Rey Mysterio's son. So I'm going to
Mhm.
expect him, to step up to my level.
You've been on a roll this year with the Monday Night Messiah character. Where would you rank it among the other iterations of Seth Rollins that we've seen dating back to NXT? And do you prefer being a babyface or a heel more?
I would say it's much easier in today's climate to be a heel
Mhm.
than it is to be a liked. There are very few baby faces in WWE over the past few years that have made it work for them for the long term. I point to Becky Lynch or Drew is doing a great job of it now. But it's tough. It can be a difficult road to hoe sometimes in today's climate. But I don't know, man. The Messiah's fun. It's still new. It's only been really in earnest for 6 months, seven
Mhm.
months or so now. And so I've just started to kind of dig my fingers into it and really start to mold it into what I want it to be. And it's been a blast. And I think it's been different for me, a different role for me than I've played in the past as well. Not just in the ring, but behind the scenes. So I don't know. I mean, time will tell where it ranks, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
And it's been cool to see both sides of the spectrum in the last year, from being a top heel right now, top babyface a year ago, with being one of the hottest baby faces in the entire company just a little over a year ago. Again, having that SummerSlam main event with Brock, a great match. Where do you think your babyface run would have panned out last year had the fans not shifted and done what they did to lead to the Monday Night Messiah? Do you think some of that backlash may have been a blessing in disguise with what it ultimately led to for you?
Oh, I don't know about a blessing in disguise. I mean, at the end of the day, things are going to happen the way they happen. There's not really any other way to make it. You can go back and talk about, well, we should have done this, we should have done that. But like I said, at the end of the day, it was going to happen the way it happened.
Mhm.
And there were tons of extenuating circumstances for why I think I was so, hot the year before as a baby face and then kind of, it slowly fizzled out and turned the way it did. But at the end of the day, I don't have any regrets or any, I wish I had done that. I wish I had done that. So, it made for a great character arc, which my entire career has been one big giant character arc. And
Mhm.
so I'm looking forward to seeing kind of, what the next phase is and where this one takes us.
Do you find promos to be easier without fans being in attendance, as they sometimes serve as a distraction with the what chants and stuff like that? Or is it harder to not have that energy from the audience to feed off of?
It's just different, when you're accustomed to cutting your promos in front of a live crowd and interacting with them and expecting a certain, you expect them to play a role because they're essentially the audience is essentially a character on the television show, and so you expect them to have feedback and you play off that and it changes the course of things. So you just have a different mindset going in. Whereas we're doing promos now in front of no crowd, or these limited crowd. It's very much more of a television show, very much more of a movie. It's different in the way you approach the context of the promo and the delivery, especially. So I don't know if it's better or worse. I mean, I think it's better in the sense that you get to fully engage the audience in a story at home, because they have no choice but to hear the words that you're saying, and you don't drift, and you don't have to play with a live crowd. So it's different in that regard, where you get some more details with the story, but it's certainly not as fun. I mean, the live crowd they're the best.
Mm-hmm. And one person that's been very complimentary of your work this past year as the Monday Night Messiah has actually been John Cena. He did an interview recently with Sports Illustrated where he said you're one of the best people out there right now doing the promos and whatnot. Is there any one endorsement that you've received over the years that still stands out to you to this day?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's the one from Sting. I mean, Sting said that very, very kindly, and I still don't believe it, not even for a second, after all the guys that he's been in the ring with. He said some very nice things about me after our match, Night of Champions back in 2015, and obviously that didn't end the way either of us wanted it to. But the fact that he came out and said some really nice things about how I was in the ring and stuff like that is pretty outstanding considering his lengthy career. So, I mean, I love John. That's not a knock on John. I really appreciate John's opinion, especially now that he, is kind of on the outside looking in. He has fresh eyes. But yeah, the Sting one saying that I was one of the best guys he's ever been in the ring with is pretty astounding to me.
Mm-hmm. And we're about a little over a year removed now from the much talked about comments that you had regarding Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, obviously, from leaving WWE. Have you guys had any other further contact since that point? And how cool has it been for you to see the success of the Shield from you being on Raw? We got Roman on SmackDown. He's in another company. How cool has it been to see that kind of spread out all over the place in wrestling right now?
That was the goal from the beginning. Yeah, I mean, John and I we're still friends. We talk from time to time, I would buzz him, see what he's doing or how he's doing or whatever, when his wife got sick, obviously I checked in on him to make sure he was doing okay. And the dogs were good and all that good stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, the Shield has done what it set out to do. That was the main goal when we left Florida Championship Wrestling back in 2012, was to take over the business. And obviously we could not foresee what it would have become or what it is now, but it's exactly what we planned in the sense that we're all, kind of running the show in our own respective places.
Have you been able to keep in touch with Roman as well during this whole quarantine period? I know he's been away from the company since right before WrestleMania. Been able to talk to him as well in recent months at all?
Of course, yeah. I mean, he's busy. He's got 5 kids now, so yeah, he's a busy dude. He's not. It's not like he's just sitting at home taking his time off. He's working, in a different way. So as an expectant father to be later this year, I can't imagine having 5 little crazies running around at once. So kudos to him and his wife for what they're doing. But yeah, he's doing good, man. He's healthy. I mean, you see him on the social media. He's working out hard. He looks like he's in the best shape he's ever been.
And kind of speaking of which, you mentioned, kids and whatnot. Of course, your wife, Becky Lynch, announced earlier this year that she was pregnant and that you and her are about to become parents. So congratulations on that. How have the last couple of months been for you, knowing that you're about to become a father? And how has Becky been doing the whole thing?
Oh, it's all been good, man. I mean, obviously, with COVID and the pandemic, there's a lot of concern going around. She wants to travel a lot less, and understandably so. And I'm coming down here every couple of weeks for tapings and stuff like that. Luckily, the company's done a really good job lately of putting some good precautions in place to make sure that everyone's as healthy as possible. So there's less concern there. But yeah, I mean, overall, aside from, that being in the back of her mind all the time, she's doing great, man. We're a little over halfway there, and we got a baby room coming, and we got everything set up. So I think we're doing it right. It's our first time. So, I'm sure we're making tons of mistakes along the way, but we don't know because it's the first time. So, yeah, we're doing good, and she's doing great, and everything's healthy.
That's awesome. Any chance that we see your future son or daughter become a WWE star down the road? Any talks about that so far?
Oh, God bless. Only in jest, man. We've always made jokes about how we're just going to keep her away from the business and away from the industry and away from social media and hope that they pick a different path. But who knows? It'll be in their blood. So we'll see what happens.
Having won virtually every championship in WWE, almost every accolade, Rumble, Money in the Bank, everything you could possibly imagine that there is right now to achieve, what are your goals going forward, still trying to accomplish in the company? And is having that formal WrestleMania main event among them as well?
Yeah, it is. I mean, always being the last on the biggest show of the year is, that's I don't want to say important, but it's certainly a goal. And I think once you stop having goals, you probably got to move on or figure out something else to do. And so that's one of them personally. But I don't know, man. I think for me, the next step is to just help out younger guys and younger talent and get the company in a really good place. So if I do try to step away at some point in the future, there'll be people there that can handle it and take over and make sure that things go well and that they can pass on that information, to the next group as well. And so just helping out younger guys. Obviously my wrestling school, I kind of try to do the same thing. And then at the end of the day, man, I want wrestling to be awesome. I want to take this show and take it through the roof. There's no not like the Monday Night Messiah. It's a thing. It's a personality. It's a character. But it's also like I would love for Raw to be at the top of the cable rankings every single week and be the most talked about thing around the water cooler and all that stuff. And so I love this industry more than anything. I've dedicated my whole life to it. And so I basically just want to do whatever I can to make it the best it possibly can be.
And you mentioned recently how long-term storytelling is something that you feel WWE has excelled at lately, specifically with you and Rey and the feud that you guys have had dating back to when you first called them out on Raw back in November. Is there anything on Raw right now, or really just WWE in general, I guess, that you feel could be improved upon, whether it be more emphasis on a certain thing or, the tag team division or whatever? Is there anything that you hope to strive to improve upon with the company itself moving forward?
Oh man, shoot, that's really tough because there's always stuff to work on, and I think, I think it's so hard to pinpoint, one thing or two things really. I think that things are tough creatively right now in the sense that we don't know where this whole thing is going to fall, and we're in the performance center, so we're doing the best we can as far as what the aesthetic looks like, trying to get a crowd in there to make noise. Things just from a viewer's perspective, things just aren't quite the same. So if we could somehow, if we're going to go under the pretense that we don't know when live events are coming back, and when a live audience is going to be in here the size of a sold out Boston Garden or whatever, I think making it more fan friendly, making it more aesthetically pleasing to an audience as a television show might go a long way. And again, that's just kind of pulling a rabbit out of a hat, because there are so many things that we all need to work on every day, not just the company, but myself, the talent around me, everyone, from in the back, the writers, the consistency and the conversations, communication. Everything could be better, but it's so hard to pick. It's so hard to pick just one thing and say, that's going to be the ticket, that's going to do it. It's a work in progress. And I think, consistently going out there and doing your job the best you can and helping other people out is going to be the best way to move the thing forward.
For sure. Finally. And one final question for you. With SummerSlam coming up next Sunday, you got an overall record of the event of 5-1. Do you consider yourself to be in the Mr. SummerSlam conversation? And who else would you put on that list?
Oh man, I mean, I think Undertaker's got something like 26 wins or something at SummerSlam. Yeah. So I don't know. He's like Mr. Every big pay-per-view at this point. But I will say my track record at SummerSlam with bangers of matches has been pretty good. I kind of looked back at my history there over the past 6-7 years or whatever it's been, and I've had some pretty good moments and matches there. So I'm hoping this match with Dominik can be another one we can add to the list.
Hopefully it should be great. Thanks so much for the time, Seth. Best of luck at SummerSlam, and best of luck to you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.